Hello, heroes and Hellspawn. My name is TVSkyn, and welcome back to Diablo, where we've made our way, somewhat, at this point, through the dungeons, albeit I did a boo-boo and forgot to pick up a Scroll of Town Portal last time I was up here, which is a bad idea to do. Still, we've nothing left to do in town, so we might as well just make our way down deeper and actually give it a shot at taking on the Butcher. I'm reasonably sure he's going to rip me in half, but 25 armor class, 6 to 12 damage. Maybe we can kill him. It's worth a shot anyway, and I do want to show you what the big guy is like. Because he is, he's a boss about whom I have trauma. I remember encountering him for the first time in Diablo and hearing that voice line, and it scared the crap out of me. So especially when you're playing the warrior, this is just a stat check. Do you have more potions than he can damage you before you die? And as you can see, I'm taking hit stun out the wazoo. Like, he hits you and then he stuns you long enough that you can't get a hit on him, and then he just keeps hit stunning you. And the only escape from him is that he can't open doors. So you can... Oh, good lord, I got him.
Spirits of the dead are now avenged.
I got him. Cost me most of my potions, but I got him. But yeah, he's like many things in Diablo, he's a hard stat check. Like, there are some things you can do if you're a sorcerer, for example. You can lure him if you can find, like, a doorway with grating in front of it, or just any grating at all, really. Like, you could open the door as a sorcerer, and then you can run, like, over here and get behind the grating and make sure that he's not anywhere near the door, and you could go down here. And then you can just pretty much, like, it's the same thing with the rogue, you can just trap him there and fire arrows and spells into his face. And, like, that'll do ya. That'll take care of him. That's cheesing him a little bit. But if you're a warrior and you don't have a bow, and I almost never pick up a bow with a warrior because you have to invest so much into dexterity, it's not worth it for me, then you just have to stat check him. And that's the way the game usually goes. Anyway, let's head down to level 3, which is red, for whatever reason. Oh, there they are. Say hello to the Burning Dead. This is like the first enemy you encounter that has like a legit problematic damage resistance, because the... Ow, goddammit. Also these guys. Ow. Because the Burning Dead are really, really resistant to fire damage. And if you're playing a sorcerer, odds are pretty good that one of your primary damage spells right now is going to be Firebolt. So the Burning Dead can actually be a real roadblock to a sorcerer when you come down here for the first time, unless you've picked up some other elemental spells. Oh, hey, we're getting some of the hidden as well. They don't always show up in level 3. Scavengers are not a problem. Die. So the hidden are interesting enemy types. You hit them, and they go down to low health, and they'll walk away and become invisible for a bit. And they, like, they're an enemy type that's invisible. As you can see, like, one just popped out of into existence up there. That's invisible until they get within a certain distance of you. And the early ones, like, you can see them coming. Like, they show up when they're, like, 5 or 6 squares away from you, which gives you plenty of time to react. But some of the later ones, they're, like, invisible until they're right next to you. And so it's really easy to get surrounded by them if you're not careful. Like, if you run into a group of them, you kind of have to make sure to keep your positioning going, because if you don't, then all of a sudden you're just surrounded and they'll kill you. And as you can tell from what's happening with the Scavengers and Burning Dead here, getting surrounded is not difficult. And I don't know that the AI is especially, like, programmed to surround you as such, but just the way that its pathfinding works means that it'll happen real quick. Down you go. My armor is... Yeah, the Butcher did a real number on my armor. Well, he would. Right. Well, might as well just use... It's not like I'm going to keep that armor forever. So I'm just going to use the Warrior's repair ability to make sure that it doesn't break. At the cost of a little bit of max durability, which is fine. Anything else around here? Keep forgetting to turn the map off for aesthetics. Because that's one of the things in terms of what we talk about with the series, like becoming more and more about its mechanics, like becoming more and more about the mechanics of the loot drop and the mechanics of like the click pick up thing loop. That's like really satisfying once you get into it. That's something you can kind of see happening if you pay attention to playing with the minimap versus playing without it. Because when you're playing without it, the only thing your eyes have to look at is the actual environment itself, and you and the enemies and just the mood of the area that you're in. The moment you put the minimap up, it's really easy to play just looking at the minimap, like just looking at like the mechanical layout of, okay, there's the door, there's the thing, oh, enemy, click on those, and then back to the minimap. It's really easy to sort of see the game only as a minimap with a kind of sort of graphically rendered backdrop, essentially, which is something that like I found I get much more into the game, honestly, when I like try to make an effort not to turn the minimap on more than I absolutely need to. Because it forces you to see the world as a piece of art, as an environment, rather than merely a set of geometric rooms for you to navigate your way through. You do need the minimap though, especially because of doors like this one that are kind of hidden in the corner behind a wall. If you don't have the minimap up, it can take you a million years to notice those. And also, like, there's later environments in the game, especially the caves, which we'll get to in a while, that very much have that, they get really confusing and hard to navigate. Ah, there we go. Without the minimap. So here is a group of hidden with a special dude in front, and he could have been a real problem if I had been in the middle of a room and they hadn't had this convenient doorway for me to funnel them through. That's the kind of thing that can get you surrounded and get you in trouble. Now, we can just eliminate them nice and slow. La-ta-ta-tee. La-ta-ta-ta. And funneling is also something that becomes harder and harder as the game goes. Like, just the way that certain environments are designed, you get more open spaces, which means more open opportunities for enemies to surround and absolutely murder you. Which is a clever little... I don't know if that's an intentional piece of difficulty design, because, like, everything I know about the design process of the original Diablo is that it, like 90% of the brilliant things that this game does, it does by accident. Like as we talked about, even the decision to be real-time rather than turn-based was kind of sort of a thing that was fought over heavily. It wasn't anyone's genius masterstroke. It was a thing of like, no, it's more fun this way. No, we want it to be slow and deliberate. And then eventually they did it, and they just kind of preferred it. Which I find it kind of encouraging, really. Like, it's game design from a time before game design was, like, a heavily studied discipline. So it's a thing of, oh, hey, this game is more fun if we make it real-time. But not a thing about, like, making a decision about what kind of branding strategy you want for your thing, the way that, like, games kind of have to do nowadays, where being turn-based is something that you brand your game on. Ooh, a Warhammer. Kind of want to identify that. Or maybe the blade. Plus 10 to magic. That's actually really powerful, but it's mostly useless to me. Oh, god damn it. But it's mostly useless to me, because it... Oh, no, actually, it does do more damage. More minimum damage, anyway. I don't really need the magic stat, though, so might as well leave it for later. Claymore, can't use that for nothing. Ah, god damn it. Go away. The Warhammer, though, will be good if I get the quest for the Skeleton King. Then the Warhammer will come a lot in handy. So I'm not selling it just yet, but... Okay, let's just... Easy not to get surrounded by zombies, thankfully, but... If you do let yourself get surrounded, they can be... Especially these guys. Ah! Now my helmet is breaking. Come on, die. I need to increase my dexterity. I'm missing way too much. I like the sound of these guys when they die. Like, there's some really good sound design on that. Come on. Book of Charged Bolt. Not that useful. So the good thing about Holy Bolt is that it does like a huge amount of damage per level because it's so specific only to the undead. It is kind of overpowered against them.
Too much baggage.
Yes, I know. We all have too much baggage nowadays. But I do want to have Firebolt in my inventory, in my spell book. It's good to have ranged options. Okay. Let me just make sure you don't fall apart. Jerk.
Not enough mana.
I know. Right, cool. Is that the whole level? Well, except for the bit by the stairs. Fair enough. What's behind the last door? Hopefully the last door. A level up! Hooray! And absolutely nothing in here except one barrel with a little gold in it. Oh, well, fair enough. All right. As I get a DM on Twitter at the least convenient moment. Welcome to level 4, the last level of the Cathedral itself. We'll get to that in a little bit. For now, we need to go back to town, and hopefully we can get ourselves a better helmet, maybe a better shield.
Stay for a moment.
Oh.
I have a story you might find interesting. A caravan that was bound for the Eastern Kingdoms passed through here some time ago. It was supposedly carrying a piece of the heavens that had fallen to earth. The caravan was ambushed by cloaked riders just north of here along the roadway. I searched the wreckage for this sky rock, but it was nowhere to be found. If you should find it, I believe that I can fashion something useful from it. Well, what can I do for you?
Well, let's just identify things first.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while
Butcher's
and
cleaver,
listen.
blade. Okay, not bad. Ooh, bent falchion. There's our first cursed item. Minus 57% damage. Absolutely bloody useless, and it costs us 100 gold to find out that it's useless.
What can I do for you?
And Griswold will only buy it for 1 gold, of course. Get rid of the blade of the bat. Get rid of the butcher's cleaver, because I don't need it. Keep the warhammer just for a sec longer. Oh, that's actually vaguely useful, but it's too expensive. And nothing in terms of useful armor. God damn it. Oh well. I'll repair the hammer myself. They have high maximum durability, so it doesn't matter.
Greetings, good master. Welcome
No?
to the Tavern of the Rising Sun.
Okay, we're not getting the Lazarus quest or the King Lure. No Skeleton King quest this time around. Fair enough.
What ails you, my friend?
Let's go see Adria as well and unload those spell books. They're worth a pretty penny.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
Yeah. Buy the goddamn hammer. And then hopefully have some better armor for sale next time I show up, Griswold. It's getting a little bit... I can't be running around this quilted armor forever.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Get rid of the mana potions, because I do not need them. And get another town portal scroll, just in case. Alright, but Griswold, you better have some goddamn useful armor for me next time I'm here. I mean, I am only level 8, so it makes sense that he wouldn't have any high-level items yet, but still. So the level of items that Griswold and the other merchants offer change depending on your character's level, basically. So you hit certain breakpoints where he'll start offering you, like substantially better and more powerful armor. Oh god, the horrors are here. So horrors are about the strongest... Yeah, there we go. The strongest of the skeleton enemies. And they're troublesome because, well, first of all, as you can see, they're reluctant to die, but also because they attack really fast. So again, it's the principle of, like, if you get surrounded by, like, even if you're just fighting 2 or 3 of them at a time, if your armor class is low, as mine kind of is, you can get stun locked and die, like, just from having like 3 enemies in front of you, because every time you try and walk away, they'll stun lock you and stop you. Or even worse, there'll be archers. I hate archers. Come on, come around the corner. Okay. Oh, motherfuckers. Chet. Get away from the archers. That's priority number 1. Get the hell away from the archers. Uh-oh. I should have brought the Warhammer. No! Oh, Jesus. As you can see, you can also get stun locked out of casting your spells. Like I said, they're troublesome. Oh, motherfucker. Okay, I definitely need more armor class.
Not enough mana.
And there goes my mana. Ah! No! 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 There's so many! Oh, God. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I have a doorway. I have a doorway! Oh, Jesus. Die. Oh, good grief. Right then. Well, there go all of my potions. I really need a Warhammer or something. I need, like, just any weapon that's better at killing the undead right now. Oh, boy.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
Get me a Warhammer. Right, so those are pretty much just the same as they were. I'm gonna have to shell out for that Azure armor of the Jaguar, aren't I? And of course there's no Warhammers now. Well, armor it is. Because I was getting destroyed. Pepin. Pepin, my dear.
What ails you, my friend?
I need the powerful potions. Potion seller, I require your strongest potions. Jerks. I really shouldn't have sold that Warhammer. I really shouldn't have done it. No. And here come the roguelike elements of the game, by the way. Because specifically, as you can tell here, like, I got screwed here. Like, you can get to level 4 and be completely overpowered, but I'm up against an enemy type for which my weapon isn't very well suited. Like, I don't know exactly how it works out, but I believe skeletons are actually, like, take slightly less damage from bladed weapons or something like that. They certainly take a lot more from blunt weapons. And so if I'd taken the Warhammer with me, I probably wouldn't have had that much trouble with these enemies. But because I was like, oh, the Warhammer sells for a pretty penny, I'll just put it away and it doesn't matter. And then, you know, you get in trouble. I need some more health. I'm gonna need that. Which, again, is kind of something that later games did away with. They maintained the plus 50% damage to undead thing with blunt weapons in Diablo 2, but by Diablo 3, it's pretty much, it's a thing that's not there anymore. There's still, like, plus % bonus.
So it came to be that there was a great revolution within the burning hells, known as the Dark Exile. The lesser evils overthrew the 3 prime evils and banished their spirit forms to the mortal realm. The demons Belial, the Lord of Lies, and Asmodan, the Lord of Sin, fought to claim rulership of Hell during the absence of the 3 brothers. All of Hell polarized between the factions of Belial and Asmodan, while the forces of the high heavens continually battered upon the very gates of Hell.
So that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give you any quests. This is just a little bit of lore flavor. But like I said, in Diablo 3, pretty much like that whole thing about choosing the right equipment to deal with certain enemies is something that again got thrown out the window in favor of like focusing on the core power fantasy, which is not a bad thing. It just means that it's a very different game. God damn it. Doorway. Doorway. Save me, doorway. You go. Staff of Telekinesis. That'll sell. Albeit it takes up a ton of space in my inventory. Right then. Hang on a sec. No. I considered for a moment closing down Twitter so I wouldn't get any more, like, notifications and stuff, but nah. It's fine. It's just a little noise. Goddamn horrors. Well, found the stairway. There's a lady who's sure that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to hell. Oh no, 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 nope, 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 absolutely not. Let's just go around the corner here for a sec, shall we? Corners can also be used to control enemies like this. It prevents you from, like, it usually means that they'll take a while to get around, which gives you some time to, like, kill them. And there's a lot of that, like, manipulating the geometry of the levels and AI pathfinding in order to manipulate how enemies move and what they do. To keep yourself in a safe position, especially when you're in a like, when your character's in a position where they're not, like, they're not just, again, it's a very, one thing that was definitely improved in later games is the binary stat check thing went away. Which is, like, very much, like, which is a roguelike thing, of course, is to have this binary stat check thing that often defines how far your character can go. Because that allows for some, like, some replay value in, oh, hey, what if you had a different, like, stat assignment this time around? What if you found better items? What if, you know, enemy configurations were a little bit different? But it's also something that can make the game really frustrating, because it can sometimes feel like you run into the dungeon and you just run into like the worst possible combinations of enemies all the time, and you just don't have a chance, and you might as well start over. Which is where, to be fair, Diablo has a cool mechanic whereby you can start a new game, but you can use a character that you already created for... Like, I can take this character right here, I've got, like, level 9, got the equipment that I got, and start a new game with him on the same difficulty level, and start all the way back at level 1, and just go through the game again with a very overpowered character. And that's one way to sort of, like, okay, this run is kind of crap, I'll just take all the stuff I found, bring it with me into a new run, and that acts as a kind of soft difficulty adjustment you can do, which allows you to kind of just grind on level 1, 2, and 3, or something like that for a while. And of course, like, the amount of experience points you need to get to level up grows and grows and grows and grows, so the more you do it, like, the less efficient it becomes. But it's a way to let you get quest rewards, like, multiple times. Okay, how many are there? Just the one? It's a way to let you get quest rewards multiple times and to, like, overcome challenges that you otherwise wouldn't be able to deal with. Albeit, like, it loses its effectiveness as the game goes on, because, like, once you're level, like, 20 and you're dealing with the latter parts of the game, you don't want to go all the way back to level 1 and start over just because it's a little difficult down there. Speaking of leveling up, another 5 to dexterity. I need to hit things. And then we'll pump points into strength for a bit, because I need that strength to wear the better armor. Hello? Anybody here? No? Well, okay then. Oh, there's one. Let's see, which one is going to explode? That one. That one's going to contain a skeleton. Goodbye. Small axe, useless. Let's see, where else? Something up north and something back there to like. Okay. Moving right along. Footloose and fancy free. Getting there is half the fun. Come share it with me. Uh-oh. Oh, kill him fast. Uh-oh. Yeah. No. No, no, no. No. Go down. Thank you. That increased dexterity is coming in handy a little bit. I'm hitting a lot more of my attacks. Whoop. So one of the tropes of games criticism is that, like, when people are talking about stuff like Silent Hill, the video game, in terms of, like, talking about how the clunky controls of that game enhances the horror because it makes the player feel disempowered. Like, that's one of the sort of tropey things that sort of became slightly mocked in games criticism because it was something people just repeated over and over and over again, sometimes about games where, like, the clunky controls did not actually add to the horror, but because they had added to the horror in Silent Hill, then it was like, oh yeah, there's clunky controls in this horror game because it because it adds to the horror. Which, okay, you first, please, thank you. Which sort of became used as a way to excuse clunky controls in all horror games always, but it's not really the only way to create horror. And the way that Diablo creates horror as a game is by, well, basically by using its lighting system a lot, for example. Like, especially when you don't have extra items that increase your light radius, oftentimes enemies will just kind of appear out of the darkness. And there's also the way that the game uses line of sight. Like, you notice that when I was walking into this room, I opened the door, and when I was out here, I could literally not see anything. Even when I was, like, here, I couldn't see anything. Then I walk in, and all of a sudden, I've got bows and I've got skeletons all over me, which is those little moments of, oh shit, that you get when there is this, like, which again is a really rigid and kind of clunky, like, vision system, which doesn't really have true line of sight. It just does a kind of a clumsy calculation based on geometry, which means sometimes things that you should be able to see are invisible, and they come out of nowhere and shock you. And much like many of the other design decisions in Diablo, like, that's probably not something that anyone really did on purpose. Like, it wasn't like a super considered design decision. It was like, hey, let's try this, and it worked out well by accident, because that's how most of Diablo was apparently designed. But it's something that works. Like, and that's the thing where I feel like the argument that clunkiness and sort of unpolished design can help horror. Because I remember having a lot of moments, especially as a kid playing this, like back in the 90s when these kinds of graphics were impressive, of like walking into a room and suddenly there's like 30 enemies there and just being scared out of my goddamn mind. And immediately popping a town portal and just like running back to town. And then having to walk all the way down manually, because if you go back through the town portal, you just go back in the middle of the group of the enemies. Which, again, is a feeling that I never, like, I don't remember even once being scared or surprised by Diablo 2. Even though I wasn't, like, that much older when I played that. Because the game wasn't interested. Like, it didn't... Diablo 2 never wanted to create a horror vibe. That's something I feel like is really clear when you play it, is that it's a game that had started this thing of, like, what did the players like about Diablo? What's the thing that they came back to do over and over and over again? What's the experience that most of them talked about really enjoying? Well, it was the looting aspect. It was, like, picking up stuff, becoming more powerful.
Not enough mana.
Darn it. Picking up stuff, becoming more powerful, like, finding, like, things in the areas, encountering new enemy types and stuff like that, but never really... Like, people didn't see it as a horror game. People didn't see it as a scary game, as such, even though that's very much like when you look at the aesthetics of the game, what the game was trying to be, that's not how it was perceived, which is an eternal... We'll talk to him in a second. Which is like an eternal, like, bane of creativity, is when people take the thing you produce in a completely different spirit than you mean it. That can be very frustrating, or it can lead to a lot of fun. And in Blizzard's case, like, they largely agreed with the hashtag gamers. Damn it. Die! Die. You'll notice that my character is blocking every once in a while as well. Which I believe that's a function of armor class and dexterity or something. Like, there's some statistical influence on your chance to block, but it's only really the warrior. Like, I think the warrior has like a passive chance, passive bonus to his block chance that makes him like the only one who's really... God damn it, too many archers. I hate this. Like, who can really be efficient with the shield in terms of blocking. Ranged enemies are the most troublesome in the game, by the way. Like, they're bar none the biggest problem, because other enemies, they have to, like, at least get to you in order to do damage to you. These guys, they can see you from 10 miles away. Like, from across the room, they have telescope vision. They will see you, and they will shoot at you pretty much no matter where the hell you are, so long as you're within line of sight. So you can be dealing with, like, a group of enemies that you can maybe defeat, but because you're constantly taking damage from archers as well, it can get you killed really easy. Down you go. And a book. Hooray! I'll take that. Alright, let's go talk to Garbad the Weak.
Please
fight, no hurt, no kill. Keep alive, and next time good bring to you.
That's Garbad the Weak. He doesn't want to fight, at least not right now. He wants to give me something nice, if I'll only let him live for a bit. And the way that you advance his little quest line is you walk away for a bit. I think this is probably enough. And then you go back and talk to him again. And then he will drop you a random magical item of some sort or another. Sometimes something useful, a lot of the times not so much. And he is just a palette swap version of an enemy we'll meet later.
Something for you. I am
Ooh, a ring!
begging.
Oh, amulet.
Again, not kill Garbad. Live and give good. You'll take this as proof I keep word.
An amulet. That is actually pretty nice. You don't usually see those this early in the game. Do I have an identify scroll? I do not, so I'll have to go back to town to check that one out.
Something for you. I am making. Again, not kill Garbad.
Anyway, let's walk away again. And come back to him again. He will give me more stuff. I hope that amulet has some kind of good stat bonus. That would be nice.
Nothing yet. Almost done. Very powerful. Very strong. Live, live. No pain. And promise I keep.
Good. And now one last time. Walk away. When you walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. I'm undercutting the horror vibe of the game a little bit, I know. Now, I believe...
This too good for you. Very powerful. You want, you take.
And now he's hostile. He's not very powerful. Because he's called Garbad the Weak, so, you know.
I'm not impressed.
Morningstar, though. That could be very good. There's no guarantee that the Morning's, like, the item that he's like, oh, this is too good for you. There's no guarantee that it's actually a very good magic item at all. But the amulet I'm quite excited about. Please be something good.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Oh, it's a lifesteal. That's actually really good. Oh, oui, merci beaucoup, mon ami. 14 to vitality. That's quite a lot of health, actually. That's pretty good. Now, it does a little bit worse in terms of minimum damage, but that's okay. Because the lifesteal is going to be useful.
What can I do for you?
Do you have something for me, Griswold? Oh, you have a mail, do you? Well, we can wait with that. Oh, you have 2 mails. All of a sudden, you have the good armor. Well, I can't afford to buy it anyway. And nothing I need there. Cool.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Do need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. That. I need the rest. And I have 2 scrolls of Town Portal. That's plenty for the moment. Now we go to Pepin and buy ourselves some more potions.
What ails you, my friend?
That should do. It does occur to me that one thing I should have done is when I got the Garbad the Weak quest, it was actually going to be a quest in here. And I should have come up here and talked to some of the townsfolk about it, because they have some slightly amusing things to say about Garbad.
Hello, my friend. Griswold speaks of the Heaven Stone that was destined for the Enclave located in the east. It was being taken there for further study. This stone glowed with an energy that somehow granted vision beyond that which a normal man could possess. I do not know what secrets it holds, my friend, but finding this stone would certainly prove most valuable. Oh, Jillian is a fine woman, much adored for her high spirits and her quick laugh. She holds a special place in my heart. She stays on at the tavern to support her elderly grandmother, who is too sick to travel. I sometimes fear for her safety, but I know that any man in the village would rather die than see her harmed.
And the voice acting, by the way, is a kind of a unique thing for the 90s. Like, it was the era of, like, when CDs were still, like, vaguely new. And like CD audio was still like, ooh, that was still a thing that games marketed themselves on, was that they had CD quality audio. Wow. And having so much of it in a game like this, like an RPG, was unusual. And moreover, having voice acting quality that was as high as it was a bit of a hallmark for Blizzard games. Like, they prided themselves often on having pretty high quality voice acting, given what they were. Like, you listen to Warcraft 2 dialogue, of course, it's very hammy, but like, for the time, compared to voice acting in video games in general, a lot of it was really very, very well done.
What ails you, my friend? Poor Wirt. I did all that was possible for the child, but I know he despises that wooden peg that I was forced to attach to his leg. His wounds were hideous. No one, and especially such a young child, should have to suffer the way he did. I don't know what it is they thought they could see with that rock, but I will say this. If rocks are falling from the sky, you had better be careful.
Thanks, Pepin. Hey, Farnham, anything useful to say?
Can't a fellow drink in peace? I want to tell you something, because I know all about this stuff. It's my specialty. This here is the best. The best. That other ale ain't no good since those stupid dogs. I used to have a nice ring. It was a really expensive one, with blue and green and red and silver. Don't remember what happened to it, though. I really miss that ring.
And that's most of what Farnham is. Like, when you talk to him about anything other than the things that he himself experienced, he just kind of rambles on and blabbers about useless stuff. And yet they bothered to record voice lines and dialogue for him for every single quest in the game. Like, all of them. You can ask him about anything, and he will have something. Not anything useful, but something. Which, again, is like the thing of... I feel like in modern game design, a lot of the time, that would be considered, unless you're specifically doing it to world build, that's the kind of thing that would be like, why would we do that? He doesn't have anything useful to say, just move on. He's not going to have any voice lines for this thing, it doesn't matter to him. But here, it's just there.
I sense a soul in search of answers. The higher you place your faith in one man, the farther it has to fall. Farnham has lost his soul, but not to any demon. It was lost when he saw his fellow townspeople betrayed by the Archbishop Lazarus. He has knowledge to be gleaned, but you must separate fact from fantasy.
Speaking of Farnham,
the Heaven Stone is very powerful, and were it any but Griswold who bid you find it, I would prevent it. He will harness its powers, and its use will be for the good of us all.
and that's the thing, is like, Diablo as a game is a lot more interested in its NPC characters than later games would be, which makes sense, like, because in Diablo 2, you go to the rogue encampment and you meet, like, the people who live there, but, like, the vast majority of the game is going to be spent literally anywhere else. And, like, and especially if you've played a few times, you want to move on from the place as fast as possible. But here, because these are the only NPCs you get, all of the effort goes into them.
Greetings, good master. Welcome to the Tavern of the Rising Sun. If you want to know more about the history of our village, the storyteller Cain knows quite a bit about the past. The caravan stopped here to take on some supplies for their journey to the east. I sold them quite an array of fresh fruits and some excellent sweetbreads that Garda had just finished baking. Shame what happened to them.
What I like about that line is that you can't quite tell if Ogden is like mourning the people who died in the caravan, or if he's upset because of the supplies that got lost.
Well, what can I do for you? The axe? Aye, that's a good weapon. Balanced against any foe. Look how it cleaves the air. And then, imagine a nice fat demon head in its path. Keep in mind, however, that it is slow to swing. But talk about dealing a heavy blow!
All right, let's talk to Jillian and to Wirt, and then head back into the dungeons.
Good day. How may I serve you? The woman at the edge of town.
Okay, we heard that one already.
A caravan of some very important people did stop here, but that was quite a while ago. They had strange accents and were starting on a long journey, as I recall. I don't see how you could hope to find anything that they would have been carrying.
Indeed. So remember that book we found down in the labyrinth? I clicked on and that got this lengthy voice line about like, oh, and so it came to pass that there was a conflict in the hells. Like, there's a few of those books scattered all around the game. 2 of them, I believe, give you actual quests, but mostly they just contain like the same lore and world building that you would find in the manual for the game, in case, like, if you have it and if you bother to read it. And it's a bunch of world building that concerns things that exist, like, far outside the scope of the game itself. Like, you ultimately are in a quest in this game to defeat Diablo, the Lord of Terror, whom has taken up residence underneath Tristram. But all that external stuff about the high heavens and the burning hells and Belial and Mephisto and the Lord of Lies and the angels and the primeals, all of that stuff is like, it's completely distant and disconnected from what happens in Diablo 1. Diablo 1 isn't a game about the eternal conflict between the high heavens and the burning hells. It's not really a game about the fight for the fate of the world. It's a game about this village, Tristram. It's a game about the things that happened here. It's a game about the child who was lost and taken to the labyrinth to be sacrificed to the ambitions of Lazarus, that one man. It's a game about what happens when a horrifying trauma is inflicted on a community. And again, I don't think that was necessarily an intentional thing that they were trying to do, but that's what they ended up creating.
Psst, over here. If anyone can make something out of that rock, Griswold can. He knows what he is doing. And as much as I try to steal his customers, I respect the quality of his work. Adria truly bothers me. Sure can.
Okay, we've heard that one too before. Wirt. But yeah, that's what the game is about. Like, really, the thing is, like, every single member of the village, everyone who's here, is here, and they are in some way marked or traumatized by the things that have happened. And for Griswold, it's like he's tried to go into the labyrinth to save his fellow townsfolk, but now he's just here providing services for the rest of the villagers. Cain is the only one who truly knows anything about what's going on with all of his mystical knowledge, and that's why he sticks around. Ogden feels this responsibility to the community to be like, essentially he's the mayor of the town, sort of, like he's the leader that holds them all together, who provides them with food, shelter. Pepin is this, like, incredibly nice man who just wants everybody to be healthy and get along. This very pleasant little healer. Farnham is completely broken and shattered by what has happened. Jillian is just like a perfectly normal woman trying to get by, trying to take care of her mother, and like sort of out of her depth with everything that's happened. Wirt is a child who had to go through this shit and who's desperately trying to get out. And Adria, well, Adria is here for her own reasons. Anyway, I think perhaps this is a good place to cut an episode. We've managed to make it to the last levels of the Cathedral parts of the labyrinth, which means we're heading into a completely new part. Well, not completely new, it's mostly the same gameplay, but a new part of the game with a different aesthetic, and that seems like a good place to open the next episode. So, if you have enjoyed hanging out in the world of Diablo with me and listening to me ramble on about what this game is really about and so on, then you can hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons down below, because, you know, algorithm reasons, it'll let you see when the next episode comes out. If you want to watch more, that's the way to do it. I also have a Patreon, a merchandise store, and a tip jar. You can use them if you want to. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. And memberships are available on this channel. I think that's all the self-promotion I can stomach doing right now, so thank you very much for watching. Please remember to wash your hands and wear a mask. And, you know, try to act in solidarity with those people who are attempting, at least, to make the world a better place right now.